And this is an interesting one because I'm going to show you that most of the time, now when you communicate, I know that you've got to be, on one hand, truthful and clear, but you also need to be tactful and diplomatic. And if you're part of this session today, I know that you do both all the time. When you're sending emails, when you're having meetings, when you're addressing a team, yeah, you got to be truthful and tactful. But here's the thing. Now, I've done quite a bit of research on this. As much as you have to do both, most of us, if not all of us, lean towards one side over the other. It means we have a bit of a bias towards truthful or tactful. Now, my personal bias is pretty strong, actually, on the truth and candor side. I like to be clear and to the point and kind of to be efficient and get things done, tell people what I mean, call a spade, and that's great. You know, what that means is if I'm kind of scrolling through Twitter, you know, I'm going to look at something like this and it's going to just kind of affirm that belief. I look at this quote by Brené Brown. Brené Brown, kind of the guru on authenticity and vulnerability, she recently said, "Clear is kind, unclear, unkind. Stop avoiding tough conversations because you think you're being polite or kind to the person. That's not kind." And again, as a truth-biased person, I'm like, exactly, just get to the point, just be clear. But then what's interesting is I work with someone very closely. I've worked with this person for over a decade. Her bias is much more on the tact, diplomacy side of things. You know, she's not just thinking about the words to be said, but how they're going to be received. You know, and she's scrolling through Twitter and she's not really paying much heed to Brené Brown's quote. What's standing out to her is from kind of Adam Grant, professor of Wortman School of Business, who that very same kind of time said, "I was just being myself isn't an excuse for disrespectful behavior. It signals lack of concern for others. Authenticity without empathy is selfish. Authenticity without boundaries is careless. Be true to your values, but show regard for others' values." You know, what he's saying is, you got to think about not just what you're saying, but the impact of what you're saying. So the question becomes, who's right? You know, is it Tim and Brené Brown, or is it my colleague and friend Claudia and Adam Grant? Well, of course, the answer is both. And what I want you to think about is, think of where your point of view, your bias is, and hear me when I say, don't be someone you're not. You know, hold on to who you are. Kind of own that. You know, have that unique point of view, but look at how you can expand that point of view for even more communication effectiveness. You know, as someone who's strongly biased in truth and candor, I'm always thinking, what would it look like to integrate a little bit more tact and empathy when it's really going to help that message get across? If you're someone who would lean on the side of kind of empathy and relationship and task, ask yourself, but am I being clear? Am I actually, holding back on things that person really needs to hear? The question isn't, can you be truthful or tactful? It's how can I be truthful and tactful?